Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave Noodles, and we are on the Type 88 show where we talk to people about how they turn their dreams into reality. And this guy is no stranger to body slamming his goals, whether it's off the top rope, on the side with a chair, he doesn't stop and he continues to elevate. I've been grateful to just see his rise from early on to, and he's going to talk about what he's been up to, where he came from, other professional sports that he was part of, and what he's doing now. But I got my guy with me, PB Smooth. What's up, man? Welcome to the show.
What's going on, brother? Appreciate you having me. I think one of the first interviews I've ever done was like with you, like back in the day when I had the picture in front of my Chrysler 300 with the two tag team belts and stuff.
Bro, I remember that. I remember that. And I was just so happy because I remember seeing you, knowing you as a whole other athlete.
Yeah,
We could talk about that, but then when I saw you doing wrestling, and wrestling as like a really it's something that means a lot to me, and you were like the first person I knew that was like doing it and like really going for it. And I
oh,
was like,
really?
"Oh, I got to talk to him. I got to learn more about what he's doing."
Absolutely. Yeah. I've always loved professional wrestling. I just didn't know that it was something that I could necessarily get into because I wasn't familiar with the independent scene. So I guess like a quick recap would pretty much be I finished my first year of graduate school, and I'm actually planning on like not finishing and just going to play overseas or whatever. But long story short, I end up deciding to come back to school, and it was really for like a girl I was dating at the time or something like that. But things didn't work out. But I also felt like I didn't love basketball the way that like you would if you really want to go do that. Like I've actually played overseas when I was 12 years old. Like I went on a tour for like 2 weeks in Helsinki, Finland, and in Russia. And I
Wow.
actually did not enjoy myself. And I don't know if it was because of the circumstances with the team or whatever the case may be. But I mean, I really wasn't like that happy. But being like the tall black dude from Hempstead, New York, it's like they expect you to like, all right, you're going to be a basketball player. Like this is your outlet. And it was like it got me through college and this, that, and the third. But I've always loved professional wrestling. I've always watched it, even like throughout my years in college. Like I remember there being times I'd be in like the athletic training room getting like ice on my knees, and I'll flip to like whatever was on, like WWE or something like that. So pretty much when I go back for that second year, I land a graduate assistantship. So I'm the head of the rec center, and a girl that I was working with at the rec center, she was best friends with a girl that was dating a local wrestler, and she knew that I enjoyed wrestling, so she got me to come out to like a few shows out here in Erie. And the guy that they were introducing me to was actually wrestling Matt Hardy that night.
Oh wow.
So I was like, yeah, I was completely baffled. So once I went to that show, I would keep going every month. And then one night I just mustered up the courage, probably when I was drunk, asking the guy, like, hey, like, do you ever think I can like train to like ref or anything like that? And then he immediately was like, no, like you're 6'9". If you're gonna do this, you need to be a wrestler. So they ended up having me try out like the next month. Things go well with that.
Wow.
Obviously, there's like a learning curve with different things. It's like a whole new like sport, and there's a entertainment aspect to it. But I fell in love with it honestly, and then I just kept going, and here we are.
Wow. So in that moment where you were like you kind of felt this vibe and you're like, well, I want to be involved one way. So you were
Yeah.
like, what about refing? And he was like, nah, like be part of this. Were you
Yeah.
currently still in the basketball circuit at that time?
No,
Okay.
this year I was just working at the gym at my school to pay for like the tuition for that second year because like my scholarship was done. And then
Gotcha.
I would play pickup games here and there with the guys or like lift weights and stuff like that, but I wasn't really as in tune with playing as I was previously. So like as I was finishing my master's degree is like when I started really training, and then like ended up staying in Erie too. complete training and stuff.
Got you, got you.
Yeah.
I totally hear you, man, because I kind of started in the beginning of college pursuing one dream, and then by a few years after college, I didn't go for my master's, but it was similar. I was probably around 24, 26, something like that. I was like, you know what? That thing that I really put my that people thought I was going to be or I thought I was going to be, I kind of took a turn, and that's when I started doing the merch. So I see we kind of had similar paths because
That's
people
the
are
thing.
expecting you to do the basketball, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. When you grow up in certain environments, it's like you're pigeonholed to be one thing. Like they expect you to be the stereotypical, like, all right, I I come from like a kind of a rough area, whatever. It's like, are you going to play sports? Are you going to do music? Like, what are you going to do to get like a college scholarship or to get out of here? So like my mindset growing up was always around basketball. So like I by nature had to have some type of love for the game because I figured this was like what I was supposed to do. And like to this day, people always ask me, like, are you a basketball player? Are you a football player? So I mean, it is what it is. And I love it for the lessons it taught me and stuff. But I feel once we hit like our mid-20s and whatnot, we kind of start truly thinking for ourselves and finding out what we like to do and what we love and what our actual dreams really are. And not worrying so much about like what everyone else expects your dreams to be. So I
Yeah,
think like that's why we're kind of like late bloomers in a sense.
yeah. But
Yeah.
but what's so cool is you were conditioning like your mind, your body, like your work ethic. I'm sure you learned so many things from playing at a professional level or a very high level where you're playing people, top dogs in the city, in the
Yeah.
areas, in the tri-state, and like you got to be at a certain level to even go neck to neck with these guys.
Yeah, I actually was on an AAU team with Tobias Harris for like several years. Like we kind of like grew up together on that circuit. And I've played against like the
Cool.
top guys in the city from the Lance Stevenson to the Kemba Walker to all those guys. So yeah, it's kind of like a hard work like embedded in you, like growing up being around that kind of environment. And also my dad worked like 4 jobs my entire life.
Oh wow.
So he was gone from like 5 a.m. to like 10 at night. And wrestling was the only thing that was on TV when he'd come home. So we started bonding over that kind of actually.
Oh wow. So that's kind of like the seed. That's where
Yeah.
like the wrestling seed was planted at a
Yeah,
young
I
age.
think so.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
So
it
I
was him and my grandma was a really big fan. So whenever she babysit me, she'd be watching Monday Night Raw, whatever the case may be.
That's so cool. I was kind of the loner wrestling wise fan, like the
Yeah.
wrestling fan growing up. But my parents always supported me. They were like, they knew I had my dad's good friend. His name was Tony Gambino. May he rest in peace. But he had the hot box back in the day. So he had
Okay.
access to every pay per view. And at that time, it was my dad just working, my mom taking care of 3 kids. My dad didn't always want to pay 60 a month for a pay per view.
Yeah,
So he's like, I'll take you to Tony Gambino's. And then, so they
yeah,
always supported my wrestling habit. My mom bought me she bought me hundreds of wrestling ice cream sandwiches so I could
oh,
collect all the cards.
yeah,
This is back when like Bret Hart and Yokozuna and like Hulk Hogan and they had the OG wrestling bars.
yeah,
And I remember just going to this bagel shop because they had the stash of those wrestling things, and we would get like three, even though there were only two of us. But because I'd get doubles, I'm like, Ma, I really need that Lex Luger. Oh, I really need that
yeah.
Yoko.
Almost like
So,
Pokemon cards.
so they always supported my wrestling habit. They took me to some matches and stuff, and I wanted to be a wrestler at that age, but it was kind of like a hoop dream for me. I was like 7, 10, and I was just like, oh, I want to be a wrestler because I love it. But I
Yeah,
never really took any steps. Like you're the first person I know that has like taken steps and you've been on huge stages. Like and
yeah,
I'm super proud of you, man, just to see where you know, from a few, early on when we were supporting each other with merch and the hoops
yeah.
to now seeing you live your dreams with wrestling, bro. It's just so awesome to see.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
So like what's a day in the life? Like because I know you grew up about that training life, preparing your mind, preparing your body. How do you even because, to be neck and neck, toe to toe with these guys that are the top of their level, how do you how do you stay sharp? How do you keep getting better and better?
Um, it's it's such like a fully loaded answer. I honestly I think the shutdown with COVID helped me with that. And the reason I say that is because before that, I was still trying to like figure out myself in wrestling. So it kind of goes back to the conversation we had before about like people wanting to pick our dreams for us as opposed to us figuring out what our dream truly is. So when everything shut down and we weren't having any shows, I took that time to kind of reinvent myself and market myself a different way because like when I first came into it, it was more like everyone's like, oh, you're like this big, tall, monster looking dude. Like you have to be like the Big Show, or you have to be like another like monstrous kind of vibe or whatever. And I mean, that's cool. Like I have a switch where I get violent. I mean, it's professional wrestling, but at the same time, my personality is different. Like I come off, in my opinion, more like a Ric Flair or like The Rock with my personality and like the Playboy persona and things like that. So for me, it was getting comfortable in my own skin and finding out what is my interpretation of Pretty Boy Smooth that I want to give to the world. Because essentially, what I do in the ring is, in that whole essence of the character and whatnot, it's me, but to a different level that obviously I wouldn't be in like everyday life.
Yeah,
And nobody else can really teach me how to be that but me. So the shutdown allowed me to be comfortable and come to terms with that. And then in terms of like training, like I would still work out most mornings, like get my lifts in, get my cardio in, and I would train my exercises and stuff tailored to the moves I do in the ring. I also, when I get the opportunity now, I go to training. Like I used to go to training twice a week, and the thing was, when what's the best way to say it? So after I graduated from the school in Erie, they were only having training once a month because they only had the rental space when they were setting up for shows. So coming from a basketball background where I'm training and practicing every day, it's kind of counterproductive for me. Like I'm not getting
yeah.
enough. So I was traveling to Cleveland to train at Absolute Intense Wrestling under Johnny Gargano for about 2 years
Nice.
before WWE like fully signed him. So like every
Nice.
Tuesday and Thursday, I'd be going to like Cleveland, and then when he left, I would go train with Pepper Parks in Buffalo, New York for it's a school called Grapplers Anonymous. And then when he got signed to AEW, I started going back to Cleveland to train and stuff like that. So I'm at a point now where I understand the fundamentals of wrestling and I understand who I am as a wrestler and what I want to do. It's more of getting out there and getting more reps. You know what I'm saying? Like that, because sometimes people can be like great practice players, but they're not like in enough games. They're not going to get to that next level. So for me right now, it's more about reps in the ring with different opponents and working with different crowds and stuff like that.
I love it, man. And what I see too, it's like it's studying in multiple ways. Like you're studying how you're moving and you're like, all right, well, this is going to affect my workout. So to that's strategic in its own way. I didn't even know that was a thing. And then it's like the persona, like really tapping into that other side of you that's the side that you're sharing with the world in the wrestling world. And like just really coming into tune of who it is, who you are with that, how to communicate, how to share your passion with the world this way. And so that from what I see, it's like mental, physical, you spiritual. You're
Yeah, it's a
tapping
lot.
into all these different, and then it's like investment. Like taking these flights to get to these places, or these long bus rides or drives to get to Cleveland to get to all these spots like that. That's investment in its own time wise to on a Tuesday where most,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You're really going all in with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in the beginning, it's very tough. I mean, I've driven
Mm.
to shows in like Indiana, like Jeffersonville, Indiana, like when I first started out, and I was getting like paid $20 for like a battle royal spot or like just some random stuff. So it's like people don't understand like the money and everything else, it doesn't come right away. Like it's almost like an internship. Like you have to drive all these places just to get noticed and to get the exposure and the experience. So now like I'm fortunate enough that my name is built up a little more and I have promoters that are flying me to Vegas. Like I was just out in Vegas a few weeks ago, and I wrestled JTG actually for this title I got right here.
Hey.
So
Hey.
so yeah, it's starting to pick up a lot more. But there has been a lot of days, a lot of nights sleeping in my car, just traveling places and putting in the time and effort.
Yeah, and those are cold nights, to because as adults, we kind of we don't mean to, but we don't if we don't have a certain amount of funds or where we spend 300 to make 50.
Yeah,
As men, we're like, oh man, like it could play with us, but you're like, nah, I'm slamming this negative vibe or
yeah.
this anything that's trying to, because certain things like that could people could give up easily. Like, oh, I didn't make nothing. I'm good.
Well,
This
that's
ain't getting
because
me
like
what I
you
want.
gotta the fulfillment can't always be like the money aspect, like if you're enjoying your journey and you're putting in the work and stuff, like the money's going to come at some point. But if you really really want something, you have to be willing to go through trials and tribulations to get there, because I could sit here and be upset at times that I was only making like $20 or this that and the third, but there are people that know my name in other countries right now that I haven't even wrestled in, like people are buying my merch. They're buying pictures of me. Like I'm on the internet and like, like when I first started like doing the PB Smooth thing, people didn't know the PB was an acronym. So they would make fun of me like, oh, like that's such a stupid name because of like peanut butter, this, that, and the third. And actually that was like a nickname I had in college, but we can get to that a whole nother time. But the point is, like, if you Google PB Smooth right now, I come up before like peanut butter. So
Yeah,
it's like I had to work to build my narrative, and a lot of people don't want to put that effort in or and expect it to happen overnight. And I feel like that's a big issue we got to deal with.
that's real. I always say success happens overnight after busting your ass for 14 years.
Yeah,
Like straight up.
it's pretty
Like
accurate.
where bust your ass for 10 to 14 years on your dream, and then success will happen overnight or one night randomly.
Yeah.
And it's like it's your success. And I think you've literally defined it. It's like I'm going after what matters to me regardless of the coin or the transfer or the exchange, besides knowing that I put my all into this. And like, and if I know I did that, everything else is just gonna flow. And bro, I'm just seeing it. I'm super proud. That belt's looking mighty fine over there.
Thank you.
Congrats on that. That's really
Appreciate
awesome. How did that feel to just, to be out on the West Coast and then, bring that home to back to the
Well,
East Coast?
yeah, well, this belt is actually from a promotion I work for in Pittsburgh.
Oh, cool.
So
Nice.
yeah, Rise Pro Wrestling. So my goal as their champion right now is to build a bigger name for the brand, put it on a bigger stage, get more eyes on the product. Because to me, like that makes me more of a legitimate champion if I can help pack these houses and bring more fans and more legitimacy to the title and things like that. So I was fortunate enough that a promotion I worked for in the West Coast gave me the opportunity to defend this over there. And when
Nice.
you're wrestling JTG, who is like a former WWE guy that is a heavy hitter and stuff like that, puts legitimacy on the title and the company. You know what I'm saying? So like,
That's nice.
yeah, so that's my whole thing, is to show that despite how some people, like I have promoters that even think that because I come out to like R&B music, or that because I have like this Playboy persona, I don't come off as like a fighting champion. So like I do things like this to prove that theory wrong. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's. I think no matter how, wherever our mind state is, we all kind of have to find that thing that we channel. It's like, well, I'm gonna prove the kid I was back then that doubted myself, or oh, I'm gonna prove my mom who never. I'm not saying you, but like, there's always
No,
kind of
no,
this like this kind of like this heel that we're facing in life. Sometimes it's us who we were when we were younger, or even the little voice in our head that's being like, "Nah, you can't do it," or even could be the bully we dealt with, and it's like I feel like I feel like it's healthy, at least for me, to kind of be like, you know what, I'm gonna prove to this person, even if it's just this person, or if it's myself. There's always kind of this proving, and I think that's just really powerful, man.
well, yeah, you have to use some of that dark energy, because
Yeah.
like we're given emotions for a reason. Like it's just part of who we are. And sometimes you need to have like an aggressive side and channel it to get you where you need to go.
Yeah,
Obviously, you don't want to live in that side, but like it can be like productive.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I I try to always like cuz I'm always working alone basically. I work kind of in this space all day, so I'm always thinking about stuff and like I'm talking to myself most of the day, mostly in my head. And but I'm seeing like I have to be kind of the filter of how I feel. I could take the pain that I'm feeling and turn it into something powerful, or I could kind of let it destroy me almost. And
Right.
it's like, how do we channel it? And there's all different things that happen to us that affect us differently. But I try to be like, all right, this sucks. I'm gonna try to channel it in a good way. I'm gonna try to Hadouken this shit and then turn it into a fireball and blast it somewhere else.
I
So
understand that completely.
so how did it feel? Kind of, you're in your car, you're going to these spots like that in itself. I've been on hip hop tours, bro. Like your legs get cramped up, get tired. So like, what do you even do? You say anything to yourself to keep yourself motivated? Do you listen to any types of music? Like what kind of get
Yeah.
like kind of straightens you out or get you kind of get back in your stance during
Yeah.
a tough time or a tough moment like
Yeah. It's a little bit more challenging if I'm traveling with other wrestlers because sometimes we do carpool and that helps out.
yeah.
I'm lucky enough that now I'm getting my trans paid for in most places, so I can just go by myself. But I don't really. What do I do? There's a specific podcast I'll watch called Impact Theory, and it's this guy Tom Billieu. Like the Quest bars.
Yeah.
Like he
Like,
was one of the founders of that,
okay.
but he started his own brand that's very similar to yours in terms of speaking to people that have followed their dreams and dealt with different trials and tribulations. So I'll watch episodes on there because there's a lot of people that he has that I admire. There is certain music that I'll listen to put me in like a good mood or that I learned from. Like there's still Jay-Z songs I'm listening to right now that make more sense to me now that I'm 30 as opposed to when I was 22.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll just sit there and kind of like meditate, like when I have like that time by myself where I can hear myself think and whatnot, it almost always puts me in a more productive place because I'm always distracted by my dogs or like social media or trying to
Yeah.
create content or just dealing with people. So sometimes those 6 hour drives can be therapeutic for me.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
I
what
always
else?
say if anyone's ever having like cuz I know a lot of artists and they're always like I'm kind of having I'm not coming up with any ideas. I'm like take a drive, and just driving is so powerful in that sense.
It is.
Or I'll say, "Hey, go live a little bit. Go walk around. Like go to a library, go say hi to someone random, like open the door for someone, have a new experience." And what I think is so cool, you're like you're capsuling these moments in time, bro, and like they're probably just all so memorable because to take a drive to Indianapolis, like these are like kind of they start off as one-offs. Like this is the first time you're doing this, the first time you're doing this, you're flying of it, you know, like you're creating these impactful moments consist consecutively, and it's probably really inspiring too for you.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. I'm trying now more to live in the moment as opposed to like have anxiety about like a match or something like that, because I'm living like a rock star life in a sense,
Yeah.
like getting to go to this place to like work essentially. So it's like just trying to like take it all in, knowing that like this obviously won't last forever and I'll obviously move on to other things in my life, but just trying to be present and have fun in the moment and like look outside. Like I'm not even like an outdoorsy person, but if I'm in my car driving and the weather's how I want it to be, I don't mind looking at the mountains I'm passing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Nah,
yeah,
there's so many beautiful things to see, and the world just so big, and the fact that you could there's these opportunities for you to be yourself in a whole other city and being welcomed.
yeah,
That's what people dream of, man. You know, that's what people dream of. You know, you're really living the dream. And I think that's such a beautiful thing because when following a dream, I feel like most of us, we have like this ultimate dream where it could be like, well, if I'm not here, it's not good enough. But nah, like you're where you're supposed to be. Like you're organically growing day by day. A few more
yeah,
fans a day, a few more hundred fans, you know, and it's just beautiful to see. It's like truly organic. You're not like one hit wondering your way to the top and then it's like where'd he go? It's like no, like
yeah.
you're this
Well,
is your life. Like
there's actually one rapper that I really love. You ever listen to Russ?
of course.
All
Yeah.
right. So I watched like a ton of his interviews, like I've read his book and stuff like that. And it's like you can literally go back on his Instagram and see like 10 years of him just like elevating and constantly putting in songs and working. And like his story about putting out a song a week to like build that album that finally blew up. Like it's kind
Yeah.
of like that kind of stuff inspires me. Like his idea of being persistent, but being delusional enough that you believe you can do this and you don't let anyone like break that mold of you. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's what I dealt with a lot. Like I was so impressionable walking into wrestling that I would have everyone I can talk to watch my matches and give me feedback. And it got to a point where I lost sense of who I wanted to be and like how I wanted to go about things and what I did do good because it's all subjective. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like listening to him definitely helped me choose me in a sense, and I feel like a lot of people don't choose themselves when they should. So
Yeah. Yeah. I was bumping him yesterday and it's cool. He does add this if your swag is on 4, he'll bring it to 8 in that
yeah,
moment. There's times where I'm feeling pretty cool. Well, after when I'm in the moment listening, I'm like, yo, I'm on like a 9 right now, of just confidence, and you feel it,
yeah,
and you feel the boost that he provides, and it's definitely magical, man. He's definitely amazing. I'm very proud of him too. He just keeps going, and I think that's the key. Is that's why I say don't stop dreaming. The dream may
yeah,
change. Your uniform may change, but you still got to put it on. Whatever the uniform is, or you're, like, you know what I mean. Like you were wearing your jersey, and now you're wearing your robe and your tights and your
yeah.
shoes and
Pretty
stuff.
much, yeah. Mesh
That
button down.
Nah, that's amazing, bro, and you're doing amazing things in the community. Um, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the scholarship, how that came to be, what you're
Yeah,
doing, how it's impacting youth.
yeah. So one of my best friends out here is a woman named Samantha Randall. She actually does like her own like vegan desserts and has like her own like clothing line. She does like a ton of stuff, right? So like I'll talk to her about things, and she's like the person I would go to if I'm feeling down and whatnot. So I always had this thing like when I make it big, I want to give back or like create my own scholarship and this, that, and the third. And we were talking one day, and she's just like, "Why don't you just do it now?" And like I didn't have an answer for her. I'm like, "Well, this is kind of like, oh, okay." So I literally contacted my former school, like the school, like the financial aid office, talked to them, figure out the guidelines for like being a donor and like stuff like that. And it started out with just being like my tax return money, in all honesty. So because I was still working, like I had like I was fine. So it was just like tax return money.
Yeah.
Um what ended up happening, as tragic as it is, when like I would try to post it, tell people I was doing it, and then some people were like, "Oh, this is cool," but nobody really like cared, I guess. So the sad part is when George Floyd passed away, that's when people started looking for things to do to help, to give back. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
my specific scholarship is to provide financial assistance to a Black student that's either going to Mercyhurst or getting recruited there that wants to go into the communication department.
Nice.
Because I feel like literacy has gone down a lot. People aren't good at interviewing. Like communication in general is just not where it needs to be. And like I feel like we need to put more Black people in those positions to help diversify it within the school and in general, like when you turn on the news and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then I also, my undergrad is in communication. So that's why that was important to me. But like I said, when that happened and more people like saw what I was doing, the donations went up to thousands of dollars. So I was actually able to, well, we were able to give 1,000 a year to one student for like the remainder of like her time at Mercyhurst. And then
It's
we just
beautiful.
found like another student for it. So I'm just trying to keep it going and see how many people we can help and what we can do to change.
Bro, that you definitely speak the truth because, just it'd be great to see more diverse on different diverse, races on in different news channels and different stuff. And what you're doing is amazing, bro. That's just, and just to have someone, being in college, it's a tough time. You're dealing with this, you're figuring out who you are. And then for someone to just be like, here's a G, go,
Yeah.
let's make it a little easier for you. I know you're doing this. I know you got loans. Here's this, like, and just knowing someone got your back, or like even just helping. Of course, that's not the whole tuition, but that
For sure.
just knowing that someone cares about you, bro, goes so far. And just having someone be like, "Yo, we believe in you. Here, use this. Take the, go for it." And that's beautiful, man. I love hearing it. And and that's shout out to your friend for just being like, "Hey, let's get it going right now. You don't have to be rich and famous right now, right away. Like to make you to do this because I've thought of foundation stuff too, and I know people and they're like, oh well, when I get bigger, I'll do it. But like, it's
Yeah.
just
And what's
beautiful to
funny
see.
is a lot of some of the bigger people don't even do it.
Yeah,
They become too like self-absorbed, or they already were self-absorbed. So it's like if
yeah,
you're not going to do it now, you probably won't do it later.
yeah, and you're just kind of even training that giving bone in your body to be like, when I get to a higher plate, or when I have even more power and more influence,
Yeah.
I'll even, you're like practicing for even that moment where you could even give someone a whole scholarship, like, and that day I see it, bro. Like, to be able to do what you're doing now, shout out to your friend for pushing you in the water and being like, yo, let's just
Yeah.
start swimming and figure it out. And whatever it is, it's more than nothing. and it's
Yeah. And
and
she's
it's
even
way
helped me
more
to
than.
raise money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been great. I'm very blessed and thankful that I was able to do it, honestly.
What was her name again, the woman?
Samantha Randall. I
Yeah,
think I
shout out
sent
to.
her stuff over to you.
Yeah, shout out to her.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And bro, I love the content you've been just dropping. The tech stuff.
Oh yeah,
That's just it's awesome. And I'm just maybe we could pull one up right quick. Is it on the IG? One of these
yeah. A
skits.
lot of them going there. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let's try to pull one up. But yeah, man, I'm loving the content. I'm just every week I see you somewhere else. I'm just like, yo, my guy is going in, man.
Well, you know what it is like when I look back at what made me a fan of professional wrestling. It was the characters. It was the entertainment aspect. Like yes, the wrestling is a big part of it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're trying to draw fans that aren't traditional wrestling fans or like the core hardcore wrestling fans, you have to do something that's like entertaining or something they can resonate with. So like going back to like thinking of like my days coming up in like school and like my encounters with women and things like that. Like it all gives me inspiration to come up with stuff like that. So I try to have a little bit of duality where like I'll have like funny videos or this, that, and the third. And then obviously when I'm in the ring, I handle business. So
That's real. No, and it's
yeah.
so true. Like my favorite my favorite guys growing up, wrestlers, they had the best promos or the
Yeah.
most or the skits like HBK kicking Marty Jannetty through the barber shop. You know, there were these moments and I remember them almost more than the matches, you know, and it's just so impactful. And hold on, there's one from February. Let's pull this one up for anyone on the video side of it. If not, you should definitely go follow my guy right here, Pretty Boy Smooth, and two zeros for the O's. So let's get right to it. Let's put the sound on.
Oh, I remember this one. Playing that Neo. Gotta have
Actually,
duality.
I actually didn't know what I was getting into. This is the first time I'm seeing this.
Oh, you never saw this one?
I just pulled one randomly out.
You should have just chose the one from yesterday.
Oh, there was one from S. Let's pull that one up. Is the this one?
Yeah.
All right, all right. Love it, bro. And
Yeah,
it's great. You're giving people, you know, just memories on and off the ring. And that's what it's all about, man. You know, just giving people moments to really look back on and be like, yo, I got to come to the next one. Like, this is what he did this time. What's he going to bring next time?
yeah, and I'm very interactive. Like, there's usually like a fan in the crowd that wants to put my chapstick on me, and I let her. So you just make it a good time.
I love it, man. You're doing amazing work. And it's so cool. Like, I didn't even know that you were randomly, I didn't even know you were into the saxophone like that.
Oh yeah,
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that was like a COVID pickup. Like I was just thinking about random stuff that I wanted to do, and I literally just randomly bought a saxophone and just started going on YouTube trying to learn how to play it. And I ended up using it actually for like a promo one time. But now that I'm like actually have like a movie role to work on stuff, I haven't really touched it lately.
That's dope, man. If my dad, he's a professional musician. So
Oh,
if you
nice.
ever need a lesson or a Zoom or something, reach out. I'll tell him like, yo, and I got this wrestler. He's a wrestler, but he's amazing. Like, please check him out. Like, and I actually made my dad a TikTok the other day. I'll
Oh,
send you
yeah.
the page. But I got him playing Drake and
Oh,
Migos
nice.
on his saxophone and flute.
That's awesome.
So so yeah, if you ever want me to get him on the FaceTime, he could definitely show you an armature. I learned about the armature um early on as a kid because that's it. I'm
Yeah.
surprised his face isn't shaped as an armature because he's always playing music. And
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take you up on that one.
yeah, yeah, he's a goat, man. He's played with Aretha Franklin, Broadway shows, Damn Yankees. What's that one with the witches? Wicked.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's like growing up.
Your
People would
dad's a
have.
legend.
He's a beast, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He doesn't have social media. I was like, I gotta make it for him. He's 76. Like,
Yeah.
I want people to. He's just so locked in, bro. And I think that's. I think maybe, and here you are, bro, locked in on what you're doing. Like, how important is being locked into what you're doing affecting your dreams? Like, maybe you could kind of break that down for us.
Yeah. So when you're like the guys that are like really, really locked in, those are like the LeBron James. You know what I mean? Because people are like, oh, he's just like a one in a generational talent, which may be true in a sense of like athleticism and whatnot. But people are disregarding the amount of work and focus this guy has. Because I research people like that because I'm trying to figure out like the mental toughness aspect. Like there's always more that we can learn from it. And like this dude, he sleeps like he gets like a legitimate 8 hours a night plus his 2 hour nap. Like he trains like a couple hours a day. Like he's film staying all the time. Like Kobe Bryant was the same way. Like they put blinders on and like really focused. And I don't remember when Michael Jordan had said this, but his analogy was like driving a car and riding a motorcycle. Like when you're driving a car, some people will eat while they're in there, they'll text, they'll do this, that, and the third. But if you're on a motorcycle, like you're just focused because like you at any given time, like if you get hit, you might die like
Yeah.
quicker than you would in a car. And it's like having like that type of focus is what gets you further. And actually in like a shorter amount of time, probably. Because I remember times as a kid where I would have homework, but if I was watching TV while doing it or something else, it would take me 2 hours to get it done. Whereas I could sit here for 45 minutes and focus and get it done. So I think having that ability to lock in is very important. And I actually spent some time with one of my older brothers that actually lives in Vegas, and he's very big on meditation and he is way more locked in than I am.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
trying to get to the level he is. And he meditates every morning. And I tried it the other day before going to the gym, and I was even lifting heavier weight, and like my workout was better. It's just knowing when to put the blinders on, not check the notifications on your phone or worry about what's going to happen like tomorrow or yesterday. It's just like focusing on the present moment and like giving all your energy towards that.
Bro, and I see it. I see it. I see the investment you're making in your life, your career, your mental, physical, spiritual health, and it's just been amazing to just live vicariously through you, bro. For anyone who wanted to be a wrestler, like seeing you doing your thing, bro, it brings joy to be like, yo, I knew him. I know him actually. I didn't just knew
Yeah,
him.
you got my number.
Yeah, yeah, like I know him and yo, look at him like, yo, check him out. Oh, you're in Ohio? My guy is around the way. Like he's performing in your city. And
Yeah, I'm actually in Akron on Saturday. I should be, I
oh,
believe.
look at that.
But yeah, and I think another big piece to it is being resilient. So like even like the people that are the most locked in, they're going to have off days or they're going to struggle at some time with something, but being able to bounce back the next day or the next few hours is what's important so that you're not dwelling on the mistake you just made. And that's the piece that I'm trying to get better at because I know like I can be super locked in, but then when I fall short, there are times where I'll spiral a little bit. So I'm trying to stop that from occurring on like a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's real, man.
yeah.
So, bro, you've given me so many gems. With our audience too. I think it's only right that we play this game. I know I didn't warn you about this, but it's a game that we play. It's called Dream On.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw you. I just being a wrestling fan, and you being knowing you and you being in the community and really going in with it. We gotta play. It's just I'm gonna throw a dream your way, and you could say, "Hey, pass," if it's not for you, or you could just let me know the first thing that comes to your mind. A lot of them are like, "No dream is too big." You'll be like,
Yeah.
they may seem a little far fetched, the questions, but just whatever you're feeling, just let's go with it. And if you're not feeling, you could just say next one or whatever. All right, cool. So if you could train with any wrestler for a day, who would it be?
I know this will never happen because he just passed, but probably Razor Ramon.
R.I.P.
Yeah, because like we're similar height and build and whatnot, and I feel like he was a big guy that made everyone around him look good, and he had like that energy about him. And I used to the main reasons I had picked like the color scheme I did was because of him. And like there's a lot of similarities to things that I do that he would do. Like how he would use his toothpick, I use my chapstick sometimes. So like if I could train with Razor Ramon, that would have been like a dream come true.
That would be amazing, bro.
Yeah.
If you could wrestle in any arena, which one would it be?
Probably Madison Square Garden
Yeah.
because obviously from New York, I when I redshirted at Hofstra, we played St. John's there one time, and it was so awesome. Like you just saw like you're walking down the hallway, you see these posters of like all the greats and stuff. And I redshirted. I didn't get in the game, so like to be able to go back there and wrestle would be tight.
Oh man, I could see that. I could see that for
Yeah,
sure, man. If you could wrestle in any country, where would you wrestle? What would be awesome for you?
that's tough. Um, Probably somewhere in the UK.
That'd be really cool.
I feel like they appreciate. Like I feel like they would love me over there. Honestly,
Yeah.
like, with my energy and the way I carry myself and stuff, I think that I would do well over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in the UK. I couldn't even pinpoint, but I think I would. I think I would do well over there.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, there's just something about Europe and just being away and bringing, you have that you're living your dream. You're in a whole different place. It's just like this appreciation on both sides cuz like you're not always there.
Yeah,
You're kind of this rare commodity, like you're there out of the blue, like you're very
yeah,
exclusive that you're there and you're feeling it and they're feeling it. And like I know MCs that have been, they've been to Australia, they've been to UK, and like just the energy, because you don't you both sides don't get to feel it that often because you're always here and they're always there. So that would be sick, man.
yeah. I think that'd be really dope.
If you could wrestle any wrestler that is no longer living, what would be your dream match?
That's a tough one.
I know,
I
I
never
know,
even thought about that, honestly.
I know.
Um, no longer living. You know what? Probably would have been Chad Gaspard. So we were actually supposed to have a tag team match with me and my tag partner Trey Lamar at the time versus Crime Time. Like the match was actually booked. And then when COVID happened, obviously we got like shut down, this, that, and the third. And he tragically passed away. His
Oh,
he was at like the beach and his son was like drowning. So he went to go save his son and they got his son out, but then the waves took
I
him.
heard about this.
Yeah, so like I was like devastated. And not even in a sense of like the match itself, but more like this kid, like he just lost
Wow.
his father and he was like really young, you know?
Oh my God, man.
And like he was always known as like a hero in like the wrestling community. He's always been like a cool dude. I got to meet him once at a show and his energy was just great, you know what I mean? So, and then also he was my size, but like bigger, like more muscular. So, like, it would have been nice to like work with somebody like that and learn from him, you know what I mean? So, I guess that would have been the
Yeah.
match that I wanted.
R.I.P. Man.
Yeah,
That's true hero right there. Going to help his son and damn, man.
yeah, it's crazy.
If you could wrestle any wrestler that is now living, what would be your dream match?
It's funny because JTG actually was my dream match at one point. Like I had cut a promo about it, and then we ended up getting the match.
Nice.
Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it's because I'm at a point now where I'm not like Kanye West crazy, but I'm more like trying to like feel myself and make sure that I'm getting on that list for somebody and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
being like the best I can be and like put on the best matches I can. So I kind of just want to be out there and test the waters with anyone and just kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love
So
it.
like I'm kind of yeah like if I'm watching like I'll watch wrestling to like study from it. But other than that, as of right now, like I kind of don't watch it as much. Like I'll watch like movies or like play video games or do other things because like I can draw inspiration from like many different ways that end up coming back around and helping me with wrestling. But sometimes you have to like disconnect a little bit to like come back stronger with it.
I love it.
So for me, like I just want to be like the best I can, create the best content I can, be the best I can in the ring, and then like maybe have people that want to wrestle me. You know, yeah, that's really where I'm at with that.
I love it, man. Yeah, this game is important to me, bro. Like, and I always encourage anyone to dream kind of big with their people because
Yeah,
one, you never know who you're talking to. But even though we know our friends, but you never know like your friend's uncle, like my friend, my best friend's really good friend, his dad like trained Mike Tyson. Like his name's Teddy Atlas, bro. Like this guy's the guy, bro, in ESPN and the sportscaster. Like he's an OG. Like, bro,
yeah.
you never know. Like, and I'm
You
not
don't.
saying that I could hit up Teddy at, but it's like a lot of people that we know or want to know or even just want to meet or inspire us, they're no longer 6 degrees away. Most of the time,
Yeah,
bro,
like
it's
not
two
everyone's
degrees.
untouchable anymore.
Yeah, like I'm about to interview a guy in on Black Soprano Family who's part of Benny the Butcher's camp. Bro,
Yeah,
that's 2 degrees away from Jay Z. I'm not gonna like be like, yo, hit up Benny to talk to Jay Z. But like, but bro, like we're all dreaming, bro. And as we dream, like I feel like we just become closer and closer to things. And that, being near Jay Z is not my dream, but like I think it'd be a dope conversation, if I can meet him and talk to him. But like
that's 100%. I get exactly what you're saying.
it's just like putting it out there, like, yo, I would love to wrestle this guy, and then, bro, because when you dream like that, it leaves a mark on people, and they're like, yo, he said that was kind of crazy, but yo, that'd be sick, and like it leaves a mark, and like, bro, they may meet someone down the road, they're like, yo, my guys, it's so weird how the world works when you put things out there, and you're working hard, and you're a
Yeah,
good person. things are, if you're being a dick, if you're hurting people, stabbing people in the back, and you're dreaming like that, I don't know how many great things are gonna happen. But like, you're a good dude. You're doing amazing work. You're working extremely hard. And I always encourage people, like, dream out loud with your homies. And I appreciate you playing the game with me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything you said, like the law of attraction is real. Like, I remember putting out a tweet. I don't remember when it was. I'm sure somebody screenshotted it just to, like, make me look like an idiot if it doesn't happen. But I would talk about how, like, I want to be like a full-time wrestler. I want to be an actor and voice actor and stuff. And like I just got like my second role in an independent film where like I have like a script to study and stuff like that. So it's kind of insane that like I'm getting my feet wet in this career already that like is what I want long term. Like I'm trying to be like the next Batista in a sense.
Yeah, and he's amazing, man. And yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm excited about the film. Maybe you could just let us know when we could check that, or when we could expect
Yeah.
it, or
Yeah, so the movie is called Shingles. It's a comedy horror anthology based off of some books called Shingles. So the books are by Authors and Dragons, and it's kind of like the way it was described to me is like the adult version of Goosebumps. So
I'm already interested.
yes. Yeah, so they're pretty interesting, but they took like three different stories out of the books and they're just making it in like this comedy horror anthology movie. So like I have like a pretty solid role in there that I'm going to play that I'm excited for.
That's
And we
cool.
actually just had the read through last week. I was a bit nervous, so I just been practicing it, trying to be more myself. And that's what the director Steve Rudensky said. Like he wants me to be myself in this. So like
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited to play this role and see how it turns out.
That's amazing, bro. That's so cool, man. It's just you're being yourself, you're sharing your passion, you're working extremely hard, and it's just amazing to see your dreams unfold, bro. I'm just so hyped to see what's next. To even learn about this movie with everything you going on. I don't even know how you find time to do it all, but you're clearly no dreams too big for you, bro. You just keep
You
going and
just got to lock in.
yeah,
Yeah, you just got to lock in. Like other things are gonna fall by the wayside. Like I don't really have time to go party and hanging out with friends and all that. You know, I can't stay up till midnight playing video games. I do sometimes, but I try not to as much. You know, like you gotta take better care of my body. Like there's certain things, and I read like a lot of self help books. And one in particular that really stood out to me. Well, there's a few, but the one I'm referencing is called "It Takes What It Takes" from this guy Trevor Moawad. He's like a mental conditioning coach for different athletes and I think Navy SEALs and stuff. And all he talks about is like choice sometimes is an illusion when you're going after something. Like there are clear cut ways to get there. You know, like if you want to be in like really good shape, there's no way around it. You have to eat healthy. You know what I'm saying? You have to work out. There's certain things you got to do. And if your body, if it takes you longer than somebody else, that's just what it is. Sometimes it takes what it takes. So I just try to keep that mindset when it comes to a lot of things that I have to endure or go through. And, you know, hopefully I reap the benefits at the end of the road.
yeah, man. And I'm so excited about your future. Just hearing your passion for life, seeing the belt, hearing about the movie, hearing about you traveling, literally leaving in a day or two. I- Coming back, doing it all over, training with this one, training with that one, bro. It's amazing. It's just amazing to see. I'm super proud. I love just seeing all this happen for you, and I really can't wait to see what's next for you, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you for always being here and supporting me out the gate.
Of course. So for anyone tuned in, if you're not already tapped in to my dude's journey, make sure I'm gonna pull up the Insta, the social media. Make sure to connect with him. No matter where
Yeah,
you are in the world or the country, he will probably be eventually in your town. So make sure to follow my guy right here, and his site is right here. Um, For anyone who's just listening, it's prettyboysmooth.com, right?
Yep. Got
Perfect.
information on the scholarship on there. Got merch on there. The Wikipedia page link is on there. A lot of stuff's on there. So just tap in.
Yeah, man. I'm very really hype. I know I keep saying it, but you're just giving me so many reasons to be hype, whether it's a movie, an upcoming match, hearing about a new belt and bro, I really appreciate you really stopping by and sharing your story, dropping gems with us, telling people how you turned your dreams into reality.
Absolutely.
So for anyone who's tuned in, who made it this far in the journey, we always say don't stop dreaming. And we've been dreaming for the evening, but as I say, don't stop. Keep it going. My guy gave amazing advice, just putting the blinders on and just going and working hard. And when something really matters to you, you know, it doesn't, the money will come, or even if it doesn't, as long as you know that it's something that's right for you, keep going super hard, and he even said he has things that where he turns off, where he has to kind of step out of the wrestling vibe to enjoy life, video games, hanging out, a little bit of hanging out, or just doing things like movies. But like when he's locked in, and he's constantly studying. He's constantly learning new things. He's working with the best of the best, and he's really investing in his dreams, whether it's time, energy, money, effort, his spirit. He's going all in, and there's so much you could learn from him. I hope you could, drop some comments and let us know your lessons that you learned from my guy here. I hope you could follow him, get some merch, find him at an upcoming event. Um, and bro, thank you, bro. I can't wait
Thank
to see
you.
what's next for you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.